everybody, welcome to George Reviews. I'm the 80s Transformer fan, and today I'll be taking a look at G.I. Joe Classified series Stormshadow, one of my favorite characters. This is the standard window box packaging from Hasbro for the G.I. Joe Classified lines. They have a few packages now. They have like the exclusive packaging, and then they have the vintage card back packaging. But this is the standard one. We get this basically most of the time at retail. You can clearly see Stormshadow within for anybody who wants to collect mint in box or keep their figures in the box. Or you can repackage this guy, put him in here just the same. You can see the full figure, all of his accessories. It's very nice packaging. Not really super special, but it's nice. You can see Stormshadow's artwork right here. I think the artwork has gone downhill lately. The first few waves, it looked amazing. Stormshadow again throwing stars, wielding swords. The back of the box has like a CGI render of figures that have come out already and yet to come out. We can see some vehicles back there. Side of the box. I believe this is a way to show his file card, data file or whatever. I never really checked it out. Went online to see what all these glyphs mean, but you can if you want to. Nothing special on the bottom and top of the box. Get this guy open. Stormshadow is one of my favorite guys. Interior of the box, there's nothing further in the box. He has no tie downs on him. Comes straight out of the packaging. He looks fantastic. Had this guy for a while, like at least since October, waiting to get to him. His quiver, a piece of his sash. I know you had to add that. His bow, one arrow, and two katanas. Alright, let's bring him closer, take a look at our Stormshadow figure. Stormshadow was always one of my favorite guys. What G.I. Joe and Cobra, the whole G.I. Joe universe did well was made villains every bit as good as the good guys. Like, you wanted to see this guy win. When he got into a fight, like, I couldn't stand the fact that Quick Kick and Spirit would take him down on certain episodes. But back to the figure. He looks fantastic. I really can't tell what color his eyes are because my eyes aren't that sharp. They look to be brown. Maybe when I watch it back, I can identify the color better. The whole hood piece is white plastic and his flesh tone in there is painted over, same as the eyebrow and the eyes. This little hoodie piece is a separate piece. It's the collapsed hooded version of this. It looks to be removable. We'll check that out. He's wearing a little belt right here. You can see the Cobra symbol right there, done well. The belt has some silver paint apps on the buckle and the throwing stars. Wraps around his back, some molding detail on it, little leathery texture. A separate piece down here. This is all black plastic, but like the bottom of his gi is painted white. Some molding detail and texture on his legs. Hope I can see that. Going around. Mostly white plastic. He has some ghost gray down here from the straps on his legs. Then his feet are the same white plastic. The bottom is painted black. It's painted well. It almost looks like a separate piece, but I believe that's just paint under there. He also has some paint on his forearms for the straps right there. It looks pretty darn good. Then his skin tone, the plastic skin tone of his arms and the molded detail of his arms look fantastic as well. Great looking figure. Alright, before I get Stormshadow geared up, we're going to do his articulation rundown. Start with his head, of course. He can look up this far. He can look down this far. Side to side on that ball joint right there. And I believe he has neck articulation as well that kind of moves with it and without. Right there, get his arms up this far to the side on this little hinge under here. He actually has a joint at the shoulders right here, allowing him to come in and out, sort of like a butterfly joint. And this shoulder ball joint 360s right there. The bicep, 360 to the bicep. Tremendous amount of articulation at the double jointed elbow. These pads on his forearms are a separate piece, which allows rotation. So there's articulation there. Coming down to his hands, we get a 360. And we have a top hinge right here for his hands. Coming down to his abdomen, he can rear back this far. come down this far, which is pretty good. Now for his waist articulation, there's like a ratchet in there, a clicking a little bit. At least there was. Could get a full 360 out of it. It's a very tight joint. You see the secondary belt underneath that I just noticed on his trunks. His leg articulation is as follows. He can do the splits, which a ninja should be able to do. That much side to side. To the back, because of the butt sculpt right here, kind of kicks out a little bit. And let's see it to the front. Get this much out of it from front to back. And the hips drop down for you. That is a feature. He has an upper thigh swivel right there. He has an upper thigh swivel right here, full 360. Double knee joint right there. We get that much out of it. He has a shin swivel right here, and no human leg does this. Swivels at the shin. Foot rocks forward, foot rocks back, and side to side. And that is a great amount of articulation. But articulation is only as good as the poses you can get a figure in. So let's get this guy armed up and see what type of poses he can hold. We're going to start with the sash right here. And instead of clipping on to the side, which I thought it might go, it goes right here around to the back. There's a little peg right here and the port right there. Just snaps on just like that. Now we're going to go to the quiver. In the vintage toy and artwork had the arrow sticking off to the side, but obviously with the swords in the air, you can't do it like that. So there's a hole in the belt and a hole in his back. Goes through there and kind of sticks off to the side like this. Then we take his bow, and there's a notch right here and a hole right here where it kind of, if I'm doing that right, I don't know if I got it top side. Goes on just like that, I believe. Short katana, this part is obvious. Long katana. And his arrow. Wait, let me take this off real quick. There's a slot for his arrow, but even more than that, there's a slot here that locks this arrow in place. It has it fits in there perfectly without falling out, and that is a very nice touch. May as well go for his hood while we're at it. I'm gonna pop off his head, take off the little folded hood or down hood. All right, I'm gonna put the head inside of the hood before we get it on here. I believe that's how it goes. Like it more, but there we go. Now here he is with the hood on, a little bit of molded and detailing in there, so you can see that it is fabric. It's kind of frayed around the fringe right here. It doesn't look now bad. Our Stormshadow is armed up and completed. Now I'm not a big fan of the hooded look. I mean, it looks good. It looks damn cool, but I'm a vintage style type of guy, you know. Happy they included it. But let's get some weapons into his hand and check them out. First thing we're going to get going is the bow and arrow. And it fits, I guess it's designed to go like as most bows, if you're left or right handed, designed to go in his left hand. I know this because the notch for the arrow is right here. So I'm going to do something that may be ill-advised. I'm going to stretch the fingers first because these G.I. Joes have hard fingers and everything is a tight fit into their hands for this Classified series line. Holds on to the red grip right there. Like I said, there's a notch right here for the arrow to kind of just stick in there like that. And I guess you just got to try to get his hand around. I mean, he's well articulated. He has the butterfly joint, but I don't know how well I can get the hand over here to make it look like he's firing his arrow. I'm gonna give it a shot. Alright, lastly we have the two katanas. I'm not sure if the shorter blade has a different name than katana, but here they are. They're exactly the same except for the length. The hilt of the blade is done in a snake head. You can see a little bit of grip molded in the snake head right here. I can get that in. Wish it had some type of wash or a paint job on it so we could see it a little bit better, the design and detail. Just a standard snake head. It's not hissing or tongue out or anything like that. So let's get him in his hand. I'll go in through the bottom. Try to go around the thumb. There we go. Easy peasy. I showed it earlier, but I didn't really talk about it. His right hand has 2 ungloved fingers just here, and they are painted his flesh tone color. And my concern is eventually wearing the paint off of his fingers if it's not gone already. I think maybe the outside is just coated, so we might be safe. But trying to slide the weapon into this tight grip, I'm pretty sure we're going to lose some paint. With the fact that these hands are so tight, the swords are held very securely in his hand. He's not going to drop them at all. No looseness in the grip there, which is awesome. So now I want to see him get posed out with his sword with a little bit of photography and see how awesome he really looks. It's time to give Stormshadow the size up and rundown. Here's a Cobra officer and a Cobra trooper from G.I. Joe Classified, and you can see they are slightly taller. I took the helmet off of one so you can see that the head is actually taller and it's not just the helmet. Here are the Crimson Twins, and they appear to be a lot larger and a lot bulkier than this guy, and the skin tone is a tremendous difference. They almost look pinkish like Kaioken and Goku. Here is SH Figure Arts Kaioken and Goku. A couple more G.I. Joe Classified figures. Here's Duke and Snake Eyes. Representing Marvel Legends, the Hand Ninja, and a female Marvel Legends Buck, Psylocke, from Transformers Siege Mirage, and from Star Wars The Black Series, a Stormtrooper / Sand Trooper. Alright, here comes the part where I wrap it up and tell you my final thoughts about the figure. I love this figure. He is a very, very cool figure for what they've done here. I believe this is the second release of Stormshadow. I think he was released in a camouflage very early on in the line. I think it was an exclusive. And I didn't bother to try to get that one and look at it. I was never a fan of the camouflage with the hood, even though we get the hood here. But I kind of passed on it because I knew this was coming out later. And I think he's getting another release. He's getting a vintage card release soon, maybe this summer 2023, or maybe the spring, something like that. And I'll probably pick that one up too for the vintage card look. Hope he comes with the nunchucks he came with, the vintage figure. That would be cool. Love to get those. Wish he had came with interchangeable hands, definitely, so we can get some martial arts pose, some kung fu type hands. So, in case you want to pose him in hand-to-hand combat with quick kick, maybe we get quick kick down the line, and also Spirit. You know, he went back and forth with those guys on the cartoon. Oh, it pained me to see him get defeated by a quick kick and Spirit on a cartoon. It just angered me. But he got justice in Marvel Comics. Like, he did not play. He was every bit the ninja he was supposed to be. And growing up in the 80s, I just love ninjas. I mean, and kung fu martial arts. That's what the 80s was all about. And I was instantly drawn to Stormshadow. Very cool character. Very cool design. And this is an even better toy. And if you don't have it, I suggest you pick it up. He is awesome. He's still at retail prices. He's on every site. He's still hanging around at Walmart, still hanging around at Target. I see him every other day when I walk in. When they get a fresh shipment, he's always there. If you like this video, please hit that notification bell, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I want to thank you all for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story.